Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Quick look here at ICP, double checking a few key factors. This is a coin I've had my eye on. Honestly, slept through a long at the 1050 range, but if the price comes back to that level, that might be a good area of interest. So what we're going to look at here today is, DCA targets on the way down if it were to pull back, how much further up it's going to go, key level resistances, etc. A lot of reasons why we got to kind of let this resistance range here be tested and broken first before we take a long into it, or at the very least wait for it to pull back to take the next set of longs. Again, I say that just easily because I do feel like Bitcoin should start to pull back a little bit. I think a lot of alts will start to sell off later today and or this weekend, just based on the simple fact that it was a very profitable week. And a lot of times on Fridays and Saturdays, you'll see pullbacks occur after significant continuations higher. So again, you look from Monday, for example, this coin is up almost about 20% at this current time in the last 5 days. So what do you think is going to happen there, folks? Securing profits will take place. All right, so we're going to take a quick look at the back-end data, see what's going on. And before we get into that, I want to say thanks for being an amazing part of my life. Thank you for always hitting the like button too. You know who you are. Those of you who aren't, please consider doing so. It really helps grow the channel and gets us in front of more people. So, the Moon Boys stop getting all the views. While Moon Boys have probably been right about a few things the last couple of days, the truth is they're inconsistent. They're typically breakout traders, and the success rate is pretty low if you're just buying every single breakout. Right? Again, it worked this week, but it doesn't always work out that way. So either way you look at it, thanks again to my community here for some awesome feedback as well. SCI 20% roughly, Dogecoin 45, 44% for Bitcoin. Those are just the longs we have open currently in the last 3 days. So let's take a quick look at the back-end data. Start with ICP. Last 7 days, we can see 1145 upwards about 1350 is that next area of local liquidation. These are basically shorts that are entering the market in the last couple of hours, so to speak, maybe about last 12 hours or less, seeing or thinking that the price isn't going to go much further. I kind of understand why they think that based on this being a resistance range, say 1130 to 1150 is a solid resistance range based on fib and previous resistances turned support, turned resistance, that whole thing. We look at the macro here, there's still more liquidation on the upside than the downside. So just kind of implying that further upside makes more sense. We can see liquidation delta is effectively in good shape. This isn't too bad. This isn't like super high. This is a kind of normal and par for the course right now. While I still feel like we're going to see a slight pullback, there's no point in considering a short position just based on the fact that it's too high a risk right now. Everything's bullish, nothing's broken their ascending trends, and it makes no sense to short at this moment. Okay, again, you're better off waiting for a long that either doesn't happen or effectively, you can FOMO into the top. But I would recommend low position size if you're going to try to get in right now. It feels like we should see a little bit of a pullback. But here's the reason why we may not. If you take a look here, we can see open interest. We got 1070 upwards of $11. That's a pretty significant range that people are pretty heavy here recently. So the price does pull back. I think best case scenario is like the low $10 mark. I don't think that's actually even a realistic probability. I think the possibility is $10.70 to $11 as that initial pullback, and that puts us right here, basically right in this little area of volume support. We got that support there with the point of control / open interest, but we also have a lot of confluence there with moving averages. So generally speaking, I don't think we're going to see a massive pullback. If we do, pending Bitcoin doesn't lose 100,000. And I think that probability is pretty low too. So let's take a look here. Daily time frame, we can recognize we're above the 20-day SMA, maintaining that nicely. That's roughly at about 1080. So 1080 may be the newest support level for us here. We've got some resistance above us. Keep in mind fair value gap plus 0.618 fib level, local highs, basically. There's a lot of reasons why 1125 to 1150 is a difficult place to cross, or will be once we get there, okay? We also rejected there already, trying to break through. And with us being above 50 on the R side, this is good incentive. This does give us incentive to favor long positions on the macro, which essentially implies that you could potentially set it and forget it in a sense there with realistic profit targets. I'm not saying that we're going to go to $20, $30, $40 for ICP right away, but if we break through this threshold about 1250, then there's a decent chance of seeing that. Okay, we'll talk about that later, but for the moment, MACD is converging. The 4-hour time frame I'm willing to guess is really good, but the daily time frame is also mostly broken bullish, except for being under this 1175. So being over the 20-day SMA and the 50 together, that gives me a lot more confidence in taking along. We're almost there, but we're not quite. If that makes sense, right? Either way you look at it, if you do zoom out here, you can also see the point of control right there at 1125. if you exclude this kind of previous consolidation range here, basically. So once the price is broken free from this low $9 mark, we can see the average price here lately is about 11.20, 11.25, and we're just below that. So again, if we close above that, that would give us solid consideration for a long with confidence between now and then, until we break free from that 11 to 11.50 range, just as a rough estimate. I'm not super convinced we've broken bullish yet. It doesn't mean, though, that the price can't still continue higher and a break through that level. It just implies we need a lot more volume, and we need Bitcoin to, at the very least, go sideways this weekend. If Bitcoin doesn't pull back, I think we're still going to see a lot of altcoins continue further up. But also keep in mind, too, there are a lot of profits that need to be taken as well, considering Monday was super low price action. We're up about 20% in the last 5 days. That kind of profit is going to be secured at one point or another, okay? So just know that that's a real thing. Good news is we got a lot of support below us here. We got this confluence here of moving averages between 1090 and about 1040. So this little 50-cent range is a nice little range. I think a good consideration for DCA, which is dollar cost average, if you're not familiar. We can see, of course, RSI is kind of one of those ranges that's looking pretty good. We're right in that sweet spot. So for the most part, everything's looking pretty solid here, minus that stochastic swing to the downside, MACD potentially diverging. We might see, once again, a bit of a dip here, but if so, there's tons of volume support below the price action. We look at the RSIs, the traditional indicators, or my favorite indicator on the hourly, basically letting us know that the window of opportunity is closing here. In other words, lagging span's getting close to the price action. You generally should wait until the price breaks or closes above this level first before you consider a long, or secondary to that, again, average in at this local support range, which to me, again, is this like $10.70 to $11 range. So I'll put that support range on the charts here just so you can kind of get perspective. I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord too, if you're not familiar. I do provide that regularly. It looks a little something like this here, just kind of giving you insight on coins and where I feel like we're going to go next. Future reference, Bitcoin, I feel, may pull back to its macro support range of 99.7 to 102.3. And if that little area is filled, or we kind of come into that range, then I feel like most altcoins are going to pull back to their local support. In this case, the local support would be that 1070 as a bottom. Secondary to that, again, based on volume, somewhere in the low $10 range. But I think seeing the low 10s right now for ICP is pretty unlikely. But a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin and how far back Bitcoin wants to pull back. Okay. All right, we'll go and post that information for you. If you are new to the channel, thanks again for always liking the videos. Future reference, appreciate that. Obviously, those who've been doing it for a while as well. I've got some folks that have been with me for coming up on 4 years now, and that's pretty amazing. So thanks again for joining me in 2011, or sorry, that'd be nice, right? 2021 rather, 22, 23, 24, whatever. Been rocking and rolling here for almost 4 years. It's been an awesome experience. Make sure you check out another awesome experience here. Oops, sorry, that's not the right one. Here, let's go to this guy here. There we go. Bitunix, phenomenal exchange, excellent opportunity for rewards. If you use my link to register, check it out, link down below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest day. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you soon.